Hello, I'm Sue Beckwith with the Texas Center for Local Food, and I'm going to talk with you today about designing the Elgin Local Food Center here in Elgin, Texas, our small town of about 9,000 people just outside Austin, Texas. When we began the Elgin Local Food Center, we had a pretty good idea of what it was. We'd talked to enough people that we knew generally that it was going to be a building that housed a shared use kitchen with a food education center and a local food business development center. As soon as we started talking, of course, more broadly to the community, we started hearing a lot of questions. Well, what's it going to look like and what will happen there? People wanted more specifics. And pretty soon the questions got pretty overwhelming, right? Well, how much will it cost to use it? Where will it be? And who will pay for it? So we needed to figure out how to get everyone's questions answered. So we sat down and kind of re-identified our stakeholders to make sure that we're asking the right people. The stakeholders all have one question: what will it do for me? That's the bottom line. Now, each of the stakeholders have different needs, of course. So what do the stakeholders want? Well, we heard a lot of answers. People want to be healthier, support the downtown. Lots of people want to start new food businesses, and everybody wants access to healthy food for their families. And supporting farmers is a cornerstone of where Elgin sees itself as a center of local food enterprise. So what functions must the building provide to give stakeholders what they want? Remember, they want jobs, be healthier, access healthy food, start businesses, support farmers. So we clarified a little bit those original functions that you saw in one of the earlier slides to the list that's here. And this gave us a good start. This gave us a real good start. We got a little bit more specific about the programming, and we talked about business coaching and training instead of just talking about business development. And this gave people a clearer picture of the kinds of services they would see at the ELF that would, of course, as stakeholders, meet their needs. How we use design thinking in the process is really about using pictures and maps to help the community begin to see the project as a reality and then begin to kind of prototype in their heads, well, how would I use this? What's in it for me? This is the first drawing that we got that's beautiful from the Texas Historic Commission architect. This is a part of the service that the Texas Historic Commission offers because the building will be located in our award-winning downtown, which is a Main Street city. Well, that first beautiful building was way too expensive, close to $5 million. A lot more money than people thought they were willing to spend. So we scaled it down. We started looking at all the existing buildings in downtown Elgin. Many were former restaurants, and then came up with this less expensive version that was about $1.8 million to rehab an existing building. This is another historic building in our downtown. And this set of drawings was provided by Ron Batcher, who is the architect at the USDA Agricultural Marketing Service. We were a USDA grantee for planning the ELF, and so we were able to take advantage of Ron's terrific services, and he worked with us to try and get the community a less expensive option in an existing building that could work for the Elgin Local Food Center. So getting back to what functions, this is just to show you, just to kind of cross-check. Just as you're going through the process, go back and make sure that the needs that your stakeholders have voiced, that you can check them off your list. And we were able to do that. And just again to be certain, we held a community stakeholder meeting for a broader group of folks, inviting folks from the school district, students. That's Miguel in the middle there. He's a high school student at Elgin High School. We got tons of ideas in this community stakeholder session. The session was about 2 hours long. We provided some snacks, and provided facilitated conversations by 5 or 6 different people from the community talking about their food businesses and what they're thinking. So the top picture there, that's Ashley. She runs a catering business. So she was talking about her catering business and helping generate ideas among the group. In the list on the left, you see the green items at the bottom. These were new ideas that came out of our community input meeting. The school culinary program. We hadn't realized that the school kitchens were pretty out of date and that the schools were not having cooking classes any longer. And yet many students are very interested in that, so we'll be able to provide that service at the ELF. Miguel wants to start a tutoring cafe because he believes that peer-to-peer tutoring is the most effective tutoring for high school students. And he believes also that it should be outside of the school setting, in a setting that's a lot more comfortable for students, that maybe doesn't feel quite so institutional, if you will. Processing vegetables for schools was a huge new piece of information that we got from the community. Schools often serve frozen, pre-cut vegetables, and we're trying to figure out ways that schools can begin purchasing vegetables from local farmers. What the schools told us is those vegetables need to be cut up, sometimes frozen, in order for the school to be able to serve them. And so the ELF will begin to provide those services. And again, cooking classes, not just for school students, but for the community at large. So while we had everyone together, we had a lot of fun picking out a logo together. We had 3 different logos, and you can see in the picture above there, we used the dot method for capturing the votes. And it was a lot of fun. People had a good time. It was a nice way for everybody to get to know each other just a little bit better. And we came out with our logo for the Elgin Local Food Center. So when we think about location, we include more maps so that people can see where the center will be. You can see if you can see the picture on the right, Elgin has plans for redoing the park area downtown. We'll have a new transit station there. Eventually we'll have a light rail station. And the ELF is going to be perfectly situated right across the small street from the new park. Now this set of drawings, you can see that as we go on the drawings, we're getting more and more refined, learning more about the project as we go, taking that stakeholder input and incorporating it into the plans. We were ready in early 2018 to hire Dick Clark and Associates with Chris White as their lead architect on our project to begin to get more specific drawings. These are the drawings that we took to the City Council, to the Economic Development Corporation, and other civic leaders to let them know how the project was proceeding, and what we were thinking about what would be the best location for it to succeed. We also worked with Oklahoma State University. Dr. Bowser is an expert kitchen engineer. He's designed dozens of kitchens, most of them in rural areas. We laid out a floor plan that works for stakeholders. You can see the parking area in the back. That's for the clients who will be renting the kitchen. Many people with small businesses use their cars as kind of their offices. And in the case of people with food businesses, they often have their utensils, pots and pans, packaging, all kinds of materials in their cars. So by putting the cars right there up against the back of the building with that back entrance, that gives them an easy way to get in and out to their stuff that they need to make their food products. So again, circling back with the stakeholders to make sure that their needs are met. Finally, in May of 2018, we have a picture of the Elgin Local Food Center that everybody likes well enough. It's located downtown, right in that position you saw by the park. We're going to need help to fully fund it. It's still a $2 million, $2.5 million building, but we have a solid design going forward. And that's thanks to the stakeholder input that we've had all along. So where we are now is the Elgin Local Food Center estimated cost to construct and open is $2.35 million. In April of 2018, the Elgin Economic Development Corporation committed $800,000 toward construction costs, and in May 2018, the City Council approved the land, reserving the land. Now, these commitments are only good until September 2019, so our job now at the Texas Center for Local Food is to get the rest of that money. But having the $800,000 from the Economic Development Corporation is a huge win and speaks very well to the process that we went through with the community to get the design of the ELF solid. We're looking forward to finding funding partners to raise the other $1.5 million that we need. And you can visit, I hope you'll visit texaslocalfood.org to learn more. Thank you so much.